Hey guys, and happy Tuesday. All right, so we're back because, and this is early and I know, but we're back to talk about something very important. So we did a story about how there was a laptop found that could be new evidence in the Girardi cases. Well, the person who was in possession of this laptop did not want to turn it over. However, a federal judge is saying otherwise. We have all the details on that and more, but before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. With that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so it looks like the victims of the Girardis are one step closer to finding answers as to where their money went. Now, according to court documents obtained by Radar Online, the federal judge presiding over Girardi's involuntary Chapter 7 bankruptcy has ordered the laptop owned by the once respected lawyer to be turned over in court. This is huge because currently the computer is in the possession of the Girardi's former law firm employee, Christopher Cannon, and the trustee put in place to manage the bankruptcy was recently informed of the device and immediately rushed to court. The trustee informed the court that Cannon had reservations about turning over the laptop due to storing his personal data on it. Despite his concerns, the trustee was able to work out a deal where Cannon agreed to turn over the laptop to allow the court to inspect the files stored on it, and the laptop will be returned after the bankruptcy is closed. Now, the computer was reportedly used to store a good amount of Tom Girardi's former client case files and internal documents. The trustee is hoping that the laptop will contain information to help locate Girardi's assets and understand the cases that he left behind. Mind you, it makes you think of like iCloud or however you store stuff. If you go on anyone's computer, you're going to find out the search history. You're going to find out the files that they save. You're going to find out what they're looking up, who they're talking to, who they're messaging. This is a big deal because if Tom Girardi was using this laptop and he was maneuvering things, like say, we're not saying that he did anything, this is just speculation, but if he was moving money around or if he was putting things where they shouldn't be or having conversations with other people who could be partially responsible for allegedly ripping off some of these victims, this would be a big win for the bankruptcy court, for sure. Now, we know that Tom Girardi is currently living in an assisted living facility in Burbank, California. The situation doesn't seem like it's, the worst living situation for him. Obviously, we know that he lived in a $10 million mansion before, but this is still almost $10,000 a month. So it doesn't sound like Tom Girardi is doing too terrible in this assisted living facility. But at the moment, Tom Girardi and Erica are named defendants in a federal lawsuit accusing the former lawyer of embezzling millions of dollars from his clients. We've talked about this too, especially with the $2 million and Jay Edelson now being approved to be able to go personally after Erica Girardi, and so are the victims. The Ruiz Gomez family has gotten the green light in order to go after Erica Girardi and be like, hey, listen, I know that this was your soon-to-be ex-husband who did all of this, but guess what? We're suing you too, because he allegedly spent money that belonged to us on your bills. Whether or not you knew, if you were shopping and you didn't know you were shopping with allegedly stolen money, we don't care. We want it back. So whether we have to sue him or you, we're suing one of you. And that kind of blows my mind because that's very telling for the court to approve this and be like, yeah, sure, the victims can go after Erica. It makes you think a little bit, like, what do they know and why do they feel so strongly like, okay, let's greenlight this and say, you guys can go after her, even though she wasn't a part of the law firm. All right. Well, the law firm who worked with Girardi on this case is now fighting to get the orphans and widows of the Boeing plane crash their millions of dollars. And when they convinced the federal judge to let them go after Erica in court, well, financial records will allegedly prove the money meant for the orphans and widows were used for Erica Girardi's bills. Of course, Erica Girardi has denied having any knowledge of her husband's dealings, and she has refused to return a dime of the money and is still fighting the $25 million lawsuit. Last time we talked to Ronald Richards, he said that they're working out a deal, but Ronald Richards is no longer on the case as far as we know. We know that the trustee something happened between them. Ronald Richards said that there was no work left for him to do, so he decided to step down. But then we know that the trustee appointed another lawyer. So then I was asking Emily D. Baker this, of course, and I said, why would they appoint another lawyer if Ronald Richards said that there's no more work to be done? She just kind of gave me a look that made me wonder, what's going on here? For sure. I have a big question about this. But anyways, we know that Erica Girardi is making about $600,000 per season and has publicly claimed that her husband's victims should be paid what they are owed, but does not believe that she is the one who owes them the money. As of right now, Erica is still currently filming The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she looks all smiles like she's moving on and everything's great. But it doesn't mean that we're not left with a lot of questions as to how this is going to play out. It's very different, and I've seen people comparing Jen Shah and this whole legal situation to the Erica Girardi legal situation. Jen Shah's, I feel like we have a date, a stamp. It's going to happen. We know that she's going to court in March. She's going to fight it out and see whether or not they convict her or if they don't. And then after that, if they do convict her, it's a small kind of time gap of a window in order to figure out what her sentence will be. Well, for the Tom Girardi, since this is civil, this could probably go on for another year or 2 years. It's not going away anytime soon. But at the end of the day, Erica Girardi might get away with not paying close to anything. That's what we're hearing now. She's definitely not going to have to pay back the $25 million, but she could get away even better and not have to pay back a dime, which would be mind-blowing, but a big win for Erica and a big loss for the victims. Guys, I don't want to just give you this information. I want to know what you think. And if we're speculating now, because that's what we were doing, how do you feel about this laptop? And do you think there's more information on it? And why did the Kamen guy not want to hand over the laptop? Well, because there's personal data stored on it. All right. But are you hiding something? And then finally, they had to get him to agree to hand it over with the help of the federal judge. It feels like there are red flags here, and I'm trying to piece it together, but I don't know. Something feels fishy. Guys, go ahead and comment below on that. And then also comment below as to whether or not you think that Erica Girardi, at the end of the day, even though the judge did greenlight the victims and also Jay Edelson to personally sue Erica, do you think that they will be able to? And if they are, will they be able to get anything out of it? We also know that Ronald Richards said if too many people press in on her, she could eventually file for bankruptcy, which why would she do that right now? Because she has great credit, but it's still an option. All right. Well, go ahead and comment below on that. And don't forget, guys, to smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. We'll be going live today at 3 p.m. with Dana Wilkie, and then back on my channel at 3:45, continuing the conversation with Dana Wilkie. I hope you guys are around for a fun talk. I always love those conversations. So if you're around, check us out, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.